In order to add a buyer, we first need to create a campaign. Once the campaign is created, we will add the buyer using the action column. In the window that opens up, we will start with adding the name of the buyer. The destination number would contain the number to which the calls have to be forwarded. The number has to be added in a specified format, along with the country code and without any special characters and spaces in between. Once the number is assigned, we will assign the value of distribution weightage. The basic idea behind distribution weightage is, more the value, more would be the number of forwarded calls. As the value of distribution weightage is changed, the bar below would show the percentage of calls that would forward to this buyer. Next we have ring timeout, which would define the number of seconds the call would ring at the buyer's end. We do not need to select the call control strategy, as the same had been selected while creating the campaign. A live calls limit would specify the number of live calls the buyer would be able to handle at a given instance of time. If enabled, we would be able to specify a call capping limit, and if disabled, then there would be no limit and the buyer would be able to handle unlimited number of live calls, running simultaneously. The trunk would be set as it is, and need not be changed unless the buyer has a local number. So, if the buyer's number is a toll-free number, the trunk would be TFN free route, and if the calls have to be forwarded onto a local number, then the trunk would be the client ID. The active hours and active days would define the period during which the buyer would be active and available to receive the calls. Outside the active period, the buyer would become inactive and calls would not forward to the respective buyer. Next we have calls allowed per day, which would define the number of calls the buyer would be able to receive in a particular day. The default value is no limit, which means the buyer can receive unlimited calls. Last option is call conversion time. We can either set the global value, which was assigned to the campaign, or we can set a custom value, as per the terms, for this buyer separately. Once the settings are done, and we click on Save, a prompt would come asking if we want to invite our buyers to view the portal. We can either add their email address, which would send them an invite link, or we can skip and save. Furthermore, once the buyers are added in a campaign, we can see the list of all the buyers by clicking on the name of the campaign. In here, we can manually activate or deactivate a buyer, add a new buyer, edit the current campaign settings, or change the general settings associated with a buyer.